Hammers chat all the way, baby.
Hello everyone, and it's European transfer deadline today. The Premier League one was obviously a few weeks ago, but it's a European transfer deadline today, and there's been a little bit of activity around Italy and Spain in the last few days, especially involving Man United. But there's one involving West Ham today. It's the worst kept secret in the world. It came out on Saturday morning just before the game that Javier Hernandez is handing a transfer request on Thursday to West Ham United as he wishes to join Sevilla, and that has been confirmed today. Gonzo, Chicharito is no longer a Hammer.
He's no longer a Hammer. He's no longer a Hammer, as you say, the worst kept secret. And I don't know how I feel about it. In fact, I don't really think I feel anything. I wonder what I think about. What do I think about it? I can understand why the club have done it. And because he wanted to go, he's been wanting to go for quite a long time. I think it just didn't really work out for him, did it, Geo? Let's be fair. He's a quality finisher, as we've seen him. He scored 17 goals for us. I think I read somewhere earlier. And we just never, under three different managers, played to his style. We never got anybody close enough to him. He needs somebody to feed off, and I think he never really had that. He needs service in the box. Of course, there was always that stat that pretty much all of his goals were scored from within the box. And it was funny because Bilic desperately wanted him, got him, played him on the wing. Moyes came in. We knew Moyes didn't really fancy him because Moyes had got rid of him at Man United. Played him either on the wing on a couple of occasions or didn't play him at all, sometimes as sub. Pellegrini came in, made all the right noises about loving the way that Javier Hernandez played. And then, just proceeded really not to play him. So it hasn't worked out. I can't really blame him for wanting to leave.
Yeah, before he came, all we needed was a finisher because we had the likes of Payet, Lanzini pulling all the strings. We just needed someone in the box to tuck away the chances. And we finally went and got that guy. But we went and got him when we no longer needed a finisher. We needed someone that was a bit more all-around type player. We almost needed Andy Carroll fit. We needed someone like Carroll that could play with the ball at his feet and that was fit consistently. And the need for someone to just poach was no longer there. Our footballer moved on. I don't agree with this Bilic played him on the wing thing. He did for the first few games, but he also scored when he was out on the wing. He scored 2 against Southampton from the left wing position. But Bilic didn't use him right. Moyes come in. He preferred Arnautovic, which is fair enough. I think it was the right call to prefer Arnautovic, and Pellegrini's obviously not really taken to him either. Hernandez could score under Pellegrini and still find himself on the bench for the next game. I feel a bit sorry for him because he's still one of the best finishers I've ever seen at the club. I had a little look at I was intrigued earlier, and I had a little look at his return on goals, and in terms of minutes per goal, he's one of the best we've ever had in Premier League. He's better than Canio, he's better than Canute, he's better than Hartson, he's better than Cotti. The only person better than him is Dean Ashton, and Hernandez, funny enough, was exactly the same as Arnautovic. I didn't check everybody, so I didn't check Kitson or Zamora, but I went through the bigger names and what West Ham had up front, and his goal scoring record is fantastic, but the thing is, it's just didn't work out for him. I don't think it's a great signing. I don't think it's been a bad signing. Sometimes they can just be okay, and I think that's what he was. He came in when we were in dire need. The thing is, when we signed him, we didn't just need a striker. We needed a name. At the time, Sullivan was under pressure because the previous summer we brought in Zaza and Caleri, and then everybody was saying, well, hang on a minute, you promised us a name, you promised us big signings, and he had to deliver a big signing. If he went and signed a Jetty that summer, everybody would have been angry because that's not someone with a big reputation, so he had to go get someone pedigree. We've changed since then. We no longer need the big name or the pedigree, if you like. We just need the clever signings. We need to do what Leicester City have done with Mahrez and Kante, and that we're trying now to do that. We've moved on a bit, and Hernandez was just at the wrong football club at the wrong time. I think it's been okay. I think it's been a reasonable success for West Ham. He scored important goals for us. He's been well paid for it. We both got a decent amount out of it. However, what about the timing of it? Because that's the big talking point, isn't it? It's not the fact he's left. That's not a secret. We know he's wanting to leave. The talking point here is he's left today when we can't bring anyone in unless it's a freebie, and there's not that many of them out there. So what do you make of selling him now once our window's shut?
well, we're at the mercy of everybody that voted to do this with a transfer window. I guarantee this won't be happening next year because it's put the league at a disadvantage. So the European clubs had the advantage, of course. Of course, they can come in now and start pilfering players. It's not just us that it's happening to either. And we would be left with an unhappy player on our hands. I think we agreed to let him go in the summer. We've had all summer. Of course, nobody comes in, not at the price we wanted. If we're culpable at all, it would have been for us to say, okay, well, we're going to let him go, and either let him go for 5 million or on a free or something like that. By us at the start of the window demanding 8 to 10 million, it was then the onus was on any sensible European club to think, okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wait until your window closes. We're going to then be in a position of strength. And so I think it's silly, but I think it's just silly everywhere. I think when we did it, we thought, and I mean the Premier League, I think we thought Europe was going to follow suit, but they didn't. They've kept their window open, and I understand why we did it, but I don't think it particularly has worked out. And I think in light of the Antonio stuff and young Silva being injured, maybe it might have been wise to keep him on. But I'm not disgusted by it. I'm not throwing my toys out of the pram about it. I think it might well be a risk worth taking. We'll see. I mean, this is just about opinion. This one, if Haller and Ajeti both get injured, then it'll prove to be a terrible thing. If they don't, and we get to January and everything's fine, then it will turn out to be a good move. I guess we'll just have to keep our fingers crossed and wait and see.
It's one of them things you're just going to have to wait till hindsight, aren't you? You're only going to find out if it's a good thing to do until it happens, because no one can predict the future. But I think financially it makes sense. It's quite a big fee, actually, considering what we're selling. It's 7 million or something we're getting. We only paid 16 for him, so we're almost getting half our money back for a guy that's on 140 grand a week. Plus, you think about all the wages we're going to save the next year. It works out to be about 12 million pounds or something at West Ham we're going to have by getting rid of Hernandez. And also, and this is where I will say fair play to Hernandez here, he handed in a transfer request. He did it the right way. He's waived his bonus that he's entitled to. Something Marko Navic never did. Marko Navic kicked up a stink and refused to hand in that written transfer request. Hernandez has done it the right way, I think. He's made it clear from day one he wants to go. And then he waited. Then he sort of he was almost forced into handing in a transfer request. He's done that. He's waived his bonus away. He's took a wage cut to go to Sevilla. He's doing it for the right reasons. I can't begrudge him his move. He's going to a Spanish-speaking country where he suits that league and stuff. So fair play to him. That's what I will say. But what frustrates me is the club waiting until now to do this. This was obvious at the start of the summer. We all said, well, Obiang and Hernandez needs to go, and Avic needs to go. Them 3 players are the ones you need to get rid of because they all want to leave, so get rid of them. Someone at the club thought, oh well, maybe we're giving the number 9 shirt, that might help. It was never going to solve anything. The guy wanted to leave for footballing reasons. He didn't leave because of lack of money. He didn't leave because of anything. He just wanted to play football. And number 9 or number 17, it doesn't make a difference to him. He just wants to play football. It was just such a PR stunt in the summer, really, giving him that number 9. But who was a PR stunt for? Because it didn't benefit the fans, it didn't benefit Hernandez. It just seemed a bit pointless, really. And I think that the club should have had this sorted out early in the summer. Now, of course, maybe nobody bid for him early in the summer. But then that's where maybe you've got to put your foot down and say, well, once our window's shut, that's it, we're done. We're no longer doing business. Saying that, I'm quite relaxed given our options. Aller and Ayati's got pretty good records of previous in terms of injuries and stuff. Yarmolenko's played up front before for Ukraine, and when he was in Ukraine, he's played up front before. And on Saturday against Norwich, he showed his positioning's good and his finishing's good, Yarmolenko. He does have some traits of a striker. Now, I'm not saying he is an out-and-out striker and we should play him up front, but I think for your third choice striker, I don't think it's a bad option. And it's something like Spurs do it, They last season had Kane, then Llorente, then they went to Son or Lucas. They put one of their attacking midfielders up there. Why? Because they're good finishers. That's what you want your striker to do. Yarmolenko's a good finisher. He's shown that. I reckon out of our whole club at the minute, maybe because not Ali, because he's started quite well, I reckon Yarmolenko's goals to minutes and stuff is unbelievable, because he scored 2 or 3 last season, got injured, and he's come back this season and scored again after about, I don't know, about 150 minutes on the pitch or something, and he's got a goal under his belt already. So overall, pretty happy or relaxed that Hernandez is gone, or are you a little bit squeaky bum time?
No, I'm not squeaky bum time. I'm really not. I do think it works out for all. I don't blame him, like you said. He's not a West Ham fan, and I think if I was as good a striker as Javier Hernandez, I'd be quite annoyed at not playing. He deserves to. He is a world class finisher. I do wonder how it impacts us financially a little bit. I think for every year he's been here, he sold more shirts than anybody else. And I mean, we certainly see it ourselves. Whenever Javier Hernandez scored, we'd have a massive spike in our video views.
Someone commented on Saturday, we did the review, someone commented like, I'm unsubscribing because Hernandez is leaving, I'm only here because I'm a Mexican. I was like, oh well.
I can, Geo, let's be honest, be brutally honest, I can well believe it. We've seen massive spikes in our analytics and our numbers every time Hernandez scores. So that's just a sort of micro example of what the bigger picture will be with the club. So if, in terms of selling their rights, I mean, the South American rights, all that sort of stuff, I'm not sure how it works, but certainly on shirt deals, certainly on social media interactions, website hits, all that stuff will take a massive financial hit. I don't we lost too much money on Javier Hernandez in terms of his wages, because there were a lot of Mexicans were buying West Ham shirts with Chicharito on the back, so they're going to take quite a big drop. How that affects any bonuses we might have on Umbro and stuff like that, I don't know. The club would have been desperate, but not only Hernandez to play well for West Ham, but Hernandez to score goals. If he'd have had 3 years scoring goals, then financially that would have been a huge benefit for the club. So I would imagine they reluctantly let him go. I imagine even the people in marketing and at the club this season were hoping, that he was going to play. And then when you saw that against Brighton, maybe there was a little hope that something else was going to happen. But for all the reasons we've already discussed, we just couldn't quite shoehorn him in to a place in the team, and nobody really fancied him. And in many respects, he's perhaps not a striker for the modern game, the way the modern game has panned out. I mean, and there are lots of them, Gio. There are lots of strikers that I look back historically and think, well, actually, you are just somebody that would need to play in a 4-4-2. And I think Hernandez is one of those. And hardly anyone plays 4-4-2 anymore. And he's almost, I say, possibly the last of the breed, because if you can't just be a poacher in the box. You look at Haller, he does that now. You look at his goals; they're very much making the run in and scoring from 2 yards or anything like that. Well, he can also hold the ball up. And if you better be offering some extra attributes. If you're a poacher, you better be able to pull wide, maybe have a trick, maybe have some pace and stuff like that. So he's had a fantastic career.
I think it's a good financial deal for West Ham. I just hope that Pellegrini sees the benefits of it in January. January is a horrible time to buy players, but we've now got 3 months to go and find someone. We know what our budget will be for January. It might be 10 million or something. We've saved a load of wages before selling Hernandez as well. So I'd like to think that, but it also frees up a squad space as well. So we were at our limit. Now we sold Hernandez. We can now bring in a non-homegrown player and he fits into the squad. There is this whole, we can bring in a free transfer, then you have to apply to the Premier League to add him to your squad and stuff. But to be honest with you, I hope we don't do that. Like, when you look at who's available and stuff, there's nobody jumping out the screen. The top guy, the name at the minute is Ben Arfa, but he's also like 3 stone overweight, Ben Arfa, and he's not what we need. I just hope that we just keep the money, we just sit on it, and if we need to reshuffle the pack, then we play Yarmolenko up front or Antonio when he's back, and we bring in Holland or something out on the wing. And actually, we look to our youngsters. We've also got Alexander Silva, but he's recovering from quite a serious illness in his bowels. Yes. That other striker, Deju. But I don't think we've got youngsters to call on up front. I don't think we do. I think it's Alier, Ajeti, then Yarmolenko if need be. There might be another couple of players leaving West Ham today, but they're only going out on loan. If so, Joe Powell has been heavily linked to Peterborough. And Dan Kemp is once again being linked to overseas, actually. It seems there's a few Dutch clubs keen on taking Dan Kemp. And then Alisi as well, our centre-back, who I think he's 18 years old now. Alisi, he's held in really high regard at the club. He's without England under 19s at the minute as well, so he's just got his first call-up to under 19s in the England squad. He's been linked away to lower league teams in England on loan. So we'll wait to see if any of them happens. Obviously, Lanzini signed a new deal. He did a video about that, Gonzo, but just sum it up for anyone that's not seen it. Happy news.
Oh, absolutely delighted, mate. Absolutely delighted. This is huge news for us, and just to have as many players as we do to keep opposition teams occupied, and we could build the team around him now with confidence. He's a superstar. He's a superstar for us at West Ham, of course, already, but he's a superstar in the making, and I think he's going to go on to do really, really great things for us. And I wouldn't be surprised if he did something quite special for Argentina as well. Buzzing about that news, mate.
Yeah, I completely agree. It was a relief to see it all get sorted, and it's turned Lanzini from, I don't know, a £15 million market value player because of his contract to a 30, 40, £50 million player just at the click of our fingers by handing him that new deal. And we're starting to see, on Saturday, we started to see Lanzini and Alea really work well together. Them two were really working well. I know Anderson played fantastic, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that the partnership between Alea and Lanzini was something that you can just see really blooming in the not so distant future. But anyway, that's it from us. Just a quick video about Javier Hernandez. West Ham United brought in the summer. They brought in a big target man Javier Hernandez could finally play with and get the best out of Chicharito. Then we sold Chicharito. If that's not West Ham, I don't know what is. But Gonzo, we'll be back at some point. We've got videos coming up. I did a video with Charlie yesterday. It's going up later on this evening. Mike on Monday is back over on the West Ham Forum channel. The link is in the description below. There's an interview with D Nation coming up on the channel. There's a quiz. There's a video with just Charlie in it. Actually, it's the first time ever I think we'll have a video with just Charlie in the video. So subscribe if you're around here. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Gonzo, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
I'll catch you in a bit.